I seem to spend a lot of time at the moment talking to customers whose pat testing has gone wrong because they've been ripped off by another pat testing company, or because they've had an accident and they're going to be sued or prosecuted. Or as in one case I came across recently, a customer decided not to do their pat testing this year to save cash, and then when they'd had a fire, they found that their insurance company weren't going to pay out. You know, it's not glamorous, it's not sexy. At the very least, it's an expense. Now, some people, of course, have to test their stuff every year. They don't have any choice. If you're in a band, if you work as a mobile DJ, you have to have your equipment tested every year because the venues that you're working in insist upon it. It's different, of course, if you've got a factory full of machinery. It's different if you have a workshop full of power tools. But in other situations, there is, of course, room for negotiation. There's room for a bit of common sense. If you have an office full of computers, for example, if you're currently paying somebody once a year to pat test it, you're probably wasting money. It doesn't need to be tested every year. Maybe every 2 years would be more reasonable. Maybe every 4 years would be more reasonable. Or maybe you don't even need to test it at all, provided that you have some system in place where the person who uses the thing on a day-to-day basis can do some simple checks themselves, what we call user checks. And the beauty of that system is that because the stuff that needs testing regularly is getting tested, and because it's being tested properly, you get a better degree of safety. But because you're not wasting time and money testing stuff unnecessarily, you almost always make a significant saving in cost. Now, of course, if you just suddenly switch from 1 year pat testing to 4 year pat testing, and if your only motivation for doing so is to save money, well, obviously you've just given your insurance company the best excuse in the world to avoid paying out if you have a problem. The customers that we have tend to be the customers that care about their staff. They want their stuff to be safe, but they're also a bit confused as to what they need to do. And our expertise in this area helps people to find a system that works. We find a system where we test the stuff that needs it as often as it needs it. But where there isn't a need to test stuff, we don't bother. I think there's a real value in having that peace of mind of knowing that your equipment has been tested properly. Knowing that if the worst happens, your insurance company are going to be there and they are going to pay out if you have an accident, if you find yourselves in court. But at the end of the day, we're doing this because we want to keep people safe.